What if I told you that everything you are holding on to, everything you believe will make you happy, everything you are desperately trying to keep in your life is the very thing that is causing your deepest suffering? What if the love you feel is not the problem, but the way you grasp at it with tight fists, terrified of losing it, is what creates the pain? I have walked this path for many decades, observing the nature of attachment in my own heart and in the hearts of countless others who have come seeking relief from their suffering. And I have seen the truth that the Buddha revealed 25 centuries ago. Attachment is not love. Attachment is fear dressed up as love, and it is the chain that binds us to endless cycles of pain. This is not a mental trick or modern psychology. This is the path walked by the Buddha himself and countless enlightened beings who discovered that freedom comes not from getting what we want and holding it forever, but from understanding the true nature of reality and releasing our grip on all that we cannot control. Before we journey deeper into this ancient wisdom, I invite you to perform a simple but profound act of liberation. In the comments below, write these words: I release attachment and embrace impermanence. When you write this phrase, you are not abandoning the people and things you love. You are making a declaration to yourself and to the universe that you are willing to love without fear, to hold without grasping, to appreciate without clinging. You are emptying your hands of the chains that have been weighing you down, making space for the peace that has been waiting patiently beneath your struggle. This is the first step on the path that leads from suffering to liberation, from bondage to freedom. Let me speak to you with complete honesty about attachment and why it keeps you suffering. Every day you wake up and immediately your mind begins its familiar routine of checking on all the things you are attached to. Is my relationship still secure? Is my job still safe? Do people still approve of me? Is my health holding up? What about my plans for the future? Will they work out the way I want? And beneath all these questions is a deep, gnawing fear that something you are holding on to will be taken away, that something you want will not come to you, that the life you have constructed will fall apart. This is not peaceful living. This is exhausting vigilance, a constant state of anxiety born from the mistaken belief that your happiness depends on external circumstances remaining exactly as you want them to be. The Buddha called this dukkha, the fundamental suffering that permeates human existence when we do not understand the true nature of things. You experience dukkha not just as dramatic pain, but as a constant background hum of dissatisfaction, a sense that something is not quite right, that you are not quite safe, that you need to hold on tighter to prevent disaster. This is the modern disease, this exhaustion that comes from trying to make permanent what is inherently impermanent, from trying to control what has never been within your control. The root of this disease is what the Buddha called avidya, ignorance of the true nature of reality. We do not see things as they are. We see them through the distorted lens of our wants and fears, our cravings and aversions, and in that distortion we create our own suffering. But here is what you must understand, and this is crucial. The Buddha did not teach that you should not care about anything or anyone. He did not teach cold indifference or abandonment of relationships and responsibilities. What he taught is infinitely more subtle and more liberating. He taught the difference between love and attachment, between genuine care and fearful clinging. Love is open, spacious, giving. It wants the other to be happy and free. Attachment is tight, constricted, grasping. It wants the other to fulfill our needs, to never change, to never leave. Love can let go. Attachment desperately holds on. Love trusts in the natural flow of life. Attachment fights against it, terrified of what might happen if we stop controlling. Many centuries ago, a young prince named Siddhartha lived in a palace surrounded by every comfort and pleasure his father could provide. But despite all this abundance, he felt a deep restlessness, a sense that something essential was missing. When he ventured beyond the palace walls, he encountered the realities his father had tried to shield him from: aging, sickness, death. He saw that no amount of wealth or pleasure could protect anyone from these fundamental facts of existence. And he realized that all the things people attach themselves to, all the things they believe will bring lasting happiness, are subject to change and loss. So he left everything behind to seek the answer to one question: is there a way to be free from suffering? For years he practiced extreme disciplines, denying his body nearly to the point of death. Then he realized that this extreme was not the answer. He also knew from his years in the palace that indulgence in pleasure was not the answer either. So he discovered what he called the middle way, the balanced path between these two extremes. And one night, sitting beneath a Bodhi tree, He made a simple commitment. He would sit and observe the nature of his own mind with complete honesty until he understood the truth. Through that night he watched craving arise and pass away. He watched aversion arise and pass away. He watched attachment form and dissolve. And in that watching, in that clear seeing, he awakened to the truth. He became the Buddha, the awakened one, and he spent the next 45 years teaching others how to find this same freedom. The first teaching the Buddha gave after his enlightenment was the Four Noble Truths, and they remain as relevant today as they were then. The first noble truth is the acknowledgement that life contains suffering. Not that life is only suffering, but that suffering is woven into the fabric of existence as long as we live in ignorance of how things truly are. You know this truth intimately. Your fear of losing what you love, your anxiety about not getting what you want, your grief when things change. These are all expressions of dukkha. The second noble truth identifies the cause of suffering. It is tanha, craving, and upadana, clinging or attachment. We crave pleasurable experiences and we become attached to them, wanting them to last forever. We have aversion to painful experiences and we fight desperately to push them away. Both craving and aversion are forms of attachment, and both create suffering. Here is where the profound hope of the Buddha's teaching emerges. The third noble truth declares that it is possible to end suffering, not by changing the external world, not by controlling circumstances, not by getting everything you want and keeping it forever, but by understanding the true nature of reality and releasing attachment. This liberation is called nirvana, which literally means the extinguishing of the fires of greed, hatred, and delusion. It is not some distant heaven or far-off state you will reach after death. It is available here and now, in this moment, when you see clearly and let go. The fourth noble truth is the path to this liberation. The noble eightfold path: right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. This is the complete map from suffering to freedom, from attachment to liberation. Right view, the foundation of the path, means seeing reality as it truly is rather than as we wish it to be. It means understanding the three marks of existence that characterize all phenomena. The first mark is anicca, impermanence. Everything that exists is constantly changing, constantly in flux, never remaining the same even for an instant. Your body is aging and transforming every moment. Your thoughts and emotions arise and dissolve like waves on the ocean. The people in your life are changing. The circumstances of your life are shifting. Nothing stays fixed. The flower blooms in stunning beauty and then it withers. The seasons turn in their endless cycle. The person you loved yesterday is not quite the same person today. Everything you were attached to will change and eventually be lost. This is not meant to depress you. This is meant to wake you up to reality so that you can stop fighting against it. Your suffering around attachment comes primarily from this resistance to impermanence. You want things to stay the same. You want the pleasant experiences to last forever and the painful ones to never happen. You want the people you love to never change, never age, never leave, never die. You want your own youth, health, and vitality to remain constant. But life does not work this way. When you resist impermanence, when you try to freeze the river and hold it still, you create immense suffering for yourself. But when you deeply understand and accept impermanence, something miraculous happens. You begin to appreciate what is here right now because you know it will not last forever. You hold things lightly with an open hand, enjoying them fully while they are present, but ready to release them when they inevitably change. The second mark of existence is dukkha itself, the suffering or unsatisfactoriness that comes from attachment to impermanent things. As long as you are clinging to things that are constantly changing, as long as you are trying to find permanent satisfaction in an impermanent world, you will experience this fundamental dissatisfaction. Even when you get what you want, the satisfaction is temporary because you immediately start worrying about losing it or you start wanting something else. Even your greatest achievements feel hollow after a short time. This is not because achievements or pleasures are bad. It is because attachment to them as sources of permanent happiness creates inevitable disappointment when their impermanent nature reveals itself. The third mark is anatta, non-self, and this is perhaps the most profound and liberating of all the Buddha's insights. When you look deeply into your experience, where is this self that you think you are? Is it your body? But your body is constantly changing, aging, transforming. Is it your thoughts? But thoughts come and go, arising from conditions and dissolving back into emptiness. Is it your feelings? But feelings are temporary states, not a permanent identity. Is it your memories? But memories are constantly being rewritten and reinterpreted. What the Buddha discovered is that what we call the self is actually a process, not a thing. It is a constantly changing stream of experiences that we label as me, but there is no fixed, unchanging essence at the core. So much of your suffering from attachment comes from this illusion of a separate, permanent self that needs to be protected, defended, and satisfied. You are attached to your self-image, to your reputation, to your sense of being someone important or successful or loved. You build an identity and then you spend enormous energy defending it, maintaining it, improving it. But when you see through this illusion, when you understand that this self you are so attached to is just a story, just a pattern of thoughts and conditioning, a tremendous freedom arises. You can let go of so much fear because there is no fixed self to protect. You can release so much attachment because there is no separate entity that needs to possess things to feel complete. Now let me teach you the practice that will transform your relationship with attachment. This is not about forcing yourself to stop caring or pretending you do not want anything. This is about cultivating mindfulness, the clear seeing that allows you to recognize attachment when it arises and gently release it. Find a quiet place where you can sit comfortably for a few minutes. Close your eyes and bring your attention to your breath, allowing it to anchor you in the present moment. As you breathe, bring to mind something or someone you are attached to. It might be a relationship, a possession, a plan for the future, an idea about who you are. Notice what happens in your body and mind when you think about this attachment. Do you feel tightness in your chest, a clinging sensation in your belly, an anxious need to hold on? Now I want you to ask yourself this question and sit with it gently. What am I afraid will happen if I let go of this attachment? Do not rush to answer intellectually. Feel into the fear beneath the attachment. Perhaps you fear being alone, being worthless, being unsafe, being unloved. This fear is what drives the attachment. The attachment is not really about the person or thing itself. It is about what you believe that person or thing provides for you, what you think you cannot live without. Sit with this fear compassionately, the way you would sit with a frightened child. Do not judge it. Do not try to fix it. Simply observe it with kind awareness. Then ask yourself another question. What would it be like to love this person or appreciate this thing without the fear of losing it? What would it be like to enjoy what is here now without desperately trying to make it permanent? Imagine for a moment what it would feel like to love with an open hand instead of a closed fist, to appreciate beauty without trying to possess it, to enjoy connection without demanding it stay exactly the same forever. This is the practice of non-attachment, not ceasing to care but caring deeply while understanding impermanence, loving fully while holding lightly. This is the middle way applied to relationship and desire. As you continue this practice, you may notice resistance arising. Part of you may say, but if I let go of my attachment, I will lose everything. I will be abandoned. I will have nothing. This is the voice of fear, and it is not telling you the truth. The Buddha taught that when we release attachment, we do not lose the capacity for love and connection. In fact, we gain a much deeper, purer form of love. Love without attachment is love without fear. It is love that wants the other to be happy even if that means they change or leave. It is love that appreciates this moment without demanding 10,000 more moments just like it. It is love that does not try to control or possess but simply cherishes what is here while it is here, while it is. This kind of love requires wisdom, the wisdom that comes from understanding impermanence. When you truly see that everything changes, that nothing lasts, you stop wasting your energy trying to freeze time. Instead, you become fully present with what is actually here right now. You look into your loved one's eyes and really see them, knowing that this moment is unique and will never come again. You feel the sun on your face and truly appreciate it, knowing that the sun will set and rise and set again in endless cycles. You experience both joy and sorrow with equanimity, understanding that both are part of the natural flow of life and neither is permanent. As you deepen in this practice of mindful non-attachment, you will begin to notice signs of transformation. The first sign is a quality of spaciousness that arises in your mind and heart. Where before there was tightness and fear, now there is room to breathe. You are not constantly bracing against loss. You are not frantically trying to hold everything in place. There is space for things to be as they are, to change as they change. This spaciousness brings with it a deep sense of relief, as if you have been carrying a heavy load for miles and have finally set it down. You may also notice a growing sense of freedom. When you are not attached, you are not controlled by external circumstances. Your peace does not depend on everything going exactly as you planned. Your happiness is not held hostage by whether people approve of you or whether you get what you want. You discover an inner stability, a ground of being that remains steady even when the surface of life is turbulent. This is equanimity, the profound balance of mind that the Buddha taught. It is not indifference. It is not coldness. It is the wisdom that understands everything is impermanent and meets all experiences with compassionate awareness. Another sign of deepening practice is clarity. The Buddha often compared the mind obscured by attachment to muddy water that has been stirred up. You cannot see through it clearly. But when attachment begins to release through mindfulness practice, the water becomes still and clear. You see your relationships more accurately without the distortion of desperate need. You see yourself more honestly without the defensive protection of a rigid self-image. You understand your life circumstances more clearly, recognizing what is actually within your power to change and what must be accepted as part of the natural flow of impermanence. This clarity is liberating because it allows you to respond to life wisely rather than react out of fear. I want you to understand that the path of releasing attachment is not about becoming perfect or never feeling the pull of desire or the pain of loss. The Buddha himself, even after his enlightenment, experienced the death of his close disciples, the betrayal of his cousin, the challenges of leading a community, but he was free because he did not add attachment and resistance to these experiences. He met them with clear seeing and compassionate acceptance. This same freedom is available to you, not freedom from ever experiencing difficulty, but freedom from the additional suffering that attachment creates on top of difficulty. Let me share with you a practice you can use in daily life whenever you notice attachment arising. When you feel yourself grasping at something, wanting to control how things unfold, fearing that you will lose what you have, pause for just a moment. Place your hand on your heart and say silently to yourself, "This too shall pass. Everything changes. I can love without attachment. I can appreciate without possessing." Feel these words not just intellectually but in your body, in your heart. Let them soften the tight grip of attachment. Let them remind you that holding on tighter does not actually protect you from loss. It only creates more suffering now. As we come toward the close of this teaching, I want to leave you with the profound truth that has guided my own practice for many decades. Attachment is not love. Attachment is fear of impermanence. When you understand impermanence deeply and accept it fully, attachment naturally begins to release. And what remains is something far more beautiful than attachment ever was. What remains is genuine love, uncontaminated by fear. What remains is authentic appreciation, not clouded by the need to possess. What remains is true freedom, the freedom to meet life as it actually is, rather than constantly fighting for it to be different. This is the path to nirvana, to the liberation from suffering that the Buddha promised is possible for all beings. It is not a distant goal that you will reach someday if you are good enough. It is here now, available in every moment that you choose clear seeing over blind attachment, acceptance over resistance, love over fear. Every time you notice attachment arising and gently release it, you are walking the Buddha's path. Every time you appreciate what is here without demanding it stay forever, you are tasting freedom. Every time you love without the need to possess and control, you are living the Dharma. I invite you to practice this today, right now, in whatever way feels authentic to you. If this teaching has touched something true in your heart, if you feel called to walk this path of liberation with me, please subscribe to this channel so we can continue this journey together. Leave in the comments the phrase we spoke of at the beginning, "I release attachment and embrace impermanence." Let this be your declaration of freedom, your willingness to love deeply while holding lightly, to live fully while understanding that nothing lasts forever. The Buddha discovered that the truth about attachment is simple but profound. It is the root of suffering, and releasing it is the path to peace. May you walk this path with patience, with kindness toward yourself, and with the wisdom that comes from seeing things as they truly are. May you be free from suffering. May you know the peace of non-attachment. May you awaken to your true nature, which has never been bound by anything at all.